Good morning, beautiful being. It's lovely to be with you. And I'm inside. I could probably be outside, but I'm feeling a little bit spaced out. So it's better to be inside and not have to coordinate body and brain and mouth and phone and, try and do something useful. I went a long way this morning in my meditation. I don't really think I'm back. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Andrew. It's lovely to be here. Yeah, this is me still not really an alpha. I don't know what my brain's doing, but anyway, I can talk. That's a good thing. So I got rocks today. Today we're talking about beauty and ugliness and all that stuff. I had an interesting weekend, Andrew, and that's all I'm going to say. Oh, it's been amazing. Hi, Julian. Let's just say that something profound is happening and leave it at that. It's a long story and it's by no means complete. So, today's rock. Good morning, Sanchia. It's lovely to see you. We just have something really simple. Look at this. You could even say it looks a bit like a Christmas tree if you're in that space. And of course it's rose quartz. And look, it's got lines. We always look for patterns in something, don't we? Because, of course, rose quartz has these planes in it. It fractures and angles. And for those who don't know, rose quartz is titanium ore. It's titanium that makes it pink. So, of course, there are places where there's a lot of this stuff, and they dig it out of the earth to get the titanium out of it. And this particular piece came with the very large piece that you can see just the top of behind me there. The cushion behind me is taller than it used to be. From South Africa, and there's a mine, and for some reason that nobody really understands, the miners get given bits of the rock as bonuses. I can't exactly eat them, but there's a chap many years ago now who goes to South Africa from time to time, because that's where he's from, and brings the stuff back. And when we got this, and the big piece, which you can't really see, but it's 20 kilos, and there's another 6 kilo piece on the floor. It's only $6 a kilo. Good morning, Jen! Which is a crazy price, New Zealand dollars, so $4 US, there you go. So, yeah, we decided, well, these two big pieces came in the house and basically decided they were going to stay, so we decided to pay the money. So, yeah, that's the story of the rose quartz, and this piece came with them, I think. Goodness me. Now I'm just having a brain brown out, but that's just how I am this morning, okay? So, rose quartz, and isn't it lovely that the light comes through it? It is translucent. Now this is a really interesting stone. Good morning, Jan. Well, wet where you are. It's not wet here. It's not, I could be living outside, but I'm simply not online enough to do that. So I'm working with what I've got. This is me, slightly spaced out and not really here yet. So this looks like a fairly gnarly, ugly, in fact, piece of quartz, right? It is, in fact, if you look at the bottom, you can see it's quite white. But the outside of it, I don't know how well you can see, it has a very slight pink cast. And it has, I think, a dusting of iron oxide on it. It's quite beautiful, really. Now, this is the only stone that has ever actually given me a physical sensation upon contact. It was included as a kind of extra with something a friend sent to me. And when I opened up the little package and picked it up, it hit me. And the thing about this is that it has, obviously 6 facets, but each one of them, and I finally worked out eventually that this stone must have grown in the presence of native gold, and I'll show you that in a minute. So it has these facets, and it was like it was just blasting me with energy in one side and out the other. There are the 3 sides that are deeply ravined. And then the bit that's harder to see, I don't know how well you can see it, is that this side is not so obvious. Can you see there are these kind of square shapes there? You can catch them with the light. And then, something grew here and fell out. On this side, you can really see it as a kind of like a mosaic. And when you can get really close, there are little squares and triangles, and they're all pushed together. And there's not just singles, they're concentric. Let me show you the last side. You can kind of see it there too. I'll just hold it still, so hopefully the camera will really focus. And when you look at it closely, it's like there's a triangle and there's a bigger one, and maybe a bigger one, and there's a little square and then a bigger one and a bigger one. Oh, you have no idea, Julian. And I wondered what made these shapes for a long time. And then there's a book that somebody gave us of minerals, beautiful pictures. And one day I was just leafing through it because, rocks, right? And I saw this image of native gold. Native gold is in solid gold that's grown somewhere on its own, not mixed in with anything else. And it had the same shapes in it. It was like, oh my God, that crystal has grown in the presence of native gold because it's got this imprint, and then the gold is dissolved, and there's been some acidic solution dissolved it out, and what you have left is the footprint in the stone. So there you go. That's the story of the only stone that ever actually kicked me physically when I picked it up the first time. So last lifetime, I just was looking, and I very rarely look at my feed, but for whatever reason I was looking at my feed and I saw a post put up by a very brave lady, and she took some pictures of herself and said, I feel really ugly. Has anyone got any ideas? That's a short version. And I looked at this and I looked at the expression on her face and, kind of read her field because I see that too. And I thought, well, lots of people were saying all the sensible things about be kind to yourself and turn your frown upside down and all of that, because she's clearly really down on herself. But then I thought, this is something that a lot of us face, is feeling ugly. And it really has nothing to do with the state of your body. It's different. So I wanted to talk about ugliness, and I wanted to talk about beauty. And the first thing I want to say is that in our society, from a very, very early age, we are programmed to believe or to have ideas with what beauty is. Beauty means you're thin, that you are, your hair's beautiful, you're wearing makeup. If you're a woman, sorry, not men, okay, talking about men in a minute. The quintessential movie star, right? You see these kinds of faces and bodies in every popular magazine. They are idealized in fiction, in movies, and so, in television, all of that stuff, and it just gets pushed in. Because you're not really thinking when you're watching a movie that you're being programmed with ideas about what beauty is. But trust me, you are. For men, the six-pack, the varying degrees of muscle, oh my God, some of this is my personal ideas about beauty. The completely overblown, gym-bound man who's got so much muscle, his little head sort of sticks out the top, is like, I find that ugly. Some women find it really amazing. It's like, oh my God, this big, powerful studly. Give me the athletic build any day, but not this, muscle-bound thing with a tiny little head sticking out the top. Crazy. See? I have ideas too. We all have these ideas, and they are just everywhere. Now, why are these ideas so pervasive? Well, they're in our culture, right? But if you look at advertising, advertisers know that if they can keep us thinking that I'm like this and there's the ideal out there who's been airbrushed and spent hours in a studio and everything's perfect, the lighting, and you don't see a wrinkle, if we can get you to look at that picture and think I should be like that picture, then you're going to buy our stuff. And that is what it's for. That is the fashion industry. And I'm not taking a poke at these incredibly creative people who make beautiful clothes, because they do. Some of you think that's clothing, okay, but there is nothing wrong with clothing. There's nothing wrong with makeup. There's nothing looking good. Hi, Ibrahim. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But when we start to compare ourselves with all that stuff and think, well, I should be like that, and if I'm not, I'm ugly, well, then we're in trouble. But of course, that's great for sales, because then we're going to go and buy the pill or the makeup or the dress or subscribe to the gym program. Again, none of that is wrong. But, we're going to do it from a space of feeling less than, bad, ugly, whatever. That's what it's for now. I mean, it's normal, it is normal and natural for humans to compare themselves to whatever. And of course, there's a whole evolutionary thing that fundamentally, when you're in good health, and therefore most likely to be a good mate to make a healthy child to keep the species going, you tend to look good, right? So there is, underneath all of that crap, there is a correlation between being healthy and handsome. Let's call it that. So apart from all that rubbish, that's the baseline, that, form tends to equal function, and if the body is out of balance, it doesn't look so good, because it doesn't look so good, and therefore it tends to not be so healthy, and therefore, not so viable as a mate or whatever. So, that's the only piece that's useful, is that when you look at someone, you get an idea of their state of health and not just their body. This was a thing that I shared about a little while ago, and it still amazes me that it landed in me. Hearing my inspiration, Dr. Joe Dispenza, saying, your body is your unconscious mind. It's like, yeah, I know that. The 95% of me that I don't think about is in my body. It's my unconscious mind. I think with my body and all that. But the piece that landed was, hang on, my body is my unconscious mind. And I was later that day I went to I think it was a Sunday, I went to the veggie market and I thought, oh, there's a whole lot of unconscious bodies walking around, a whole lot of unconscious minds walking around. I look at a person, and I mean, of course I can't read them like a book, but there's whole chunks of them that I can read like a book. Because you can just see by the way they walk and how they move what they really think about themselves in their life. It's really obvious if you start paying attention. And then I think, oh, geez, what is my unconscious mind saying about me that I haven't noticed? Or, that I haven't just accepted and believed is true about me, but it's not. So, yeah, they do make insecurities, totally, Sanchia. It's amazing if you really stop to look, if you just pay attention to the media today about this. I think, hey, oh my God, there's that insecurity button again. There it is again. And all the memes, so much. Not saying any of it's wrong or right, just saying that this is how we're wired and programmed. So, and then I thought, okay, so that's the thing, we're programmed to feel insecure so that we'll spend money to make ourselves feel better. Now, what does that mean? You have been hypnotized into thinking that you need something outside of yourself to feel good inside yourself. Because fundamentally, isn't feeling beautiful about feeling really good, And you see people who feel beautiful and their body's not that fantastic, but their face is a light. And, it's like, hang on a minute. What? You mean you can feel beautiful and not have a perfect body? And so I started to think, okay, so we talk about the problem, but what is the solution? And it's so simple that it's like, yeah, it can't be that easy. Well, it's not easy. It's not easy to start appreciating yourself and celebrating yourself when you have a lifetime, perhaps, habit of comparing yourself to all those bullshit manufactured ideals and feeling that you're ugly. Because why? Because your body, your unconscious mind, is conditioned chemically to feel that way. It's used to feeling ugly, and you want to feel beautiful. You want to feel good about yourself, and your body's saying, oh, no, you don't. Don't you go off and go somewhere that's unknown to me. I'm going to fight you to the death because I know how to feel ugly, and it's safe and it's familiar to me. I don't care that you don't like it. I am staying where we're used to. And that's why it's difficult. It's not because you're fat or you're sick or somebody criticised you for however long. I mean, that helped if somebody criticised you for however long, because that programmed the thoughts that you then started to think repetitively and feel in alignment with those thoughts. It's like, you're useless, you're no good, you're ugly, you're whatever, you're full of shit. People get told this. Oh my God. So it starts off early, right? If you have critical parents or a critical sibling or critical teachers or whatever. But the reason why it's so difficult to change is because by the time you want to think, okay, really? I'm just hypnotized into believing I'm ugly. And if I start to appreciate whatever it is about myself, if I start to be grateful for the fact that, I'm standing up and I can walk and I have eyes that work and ears that go, and if I start appreciating the things that I do have, maybe I'm going to start feeling better about myself. Because you will. If you start appreciating and celebrating so you stop looking at all the things, you look in the mirror and you think, oh, well, I've got this mole on my face and I'm the wrong shape here and my skin's starting to wrinkle or whatever it is. But what about all the things in your body that serve you well, that you never give any attention to, like the fact that your legs work? It's really simple things, but they're difficult to execute if you're not accustomed to it, because we are so mentally accustomed to feeling bad, thinking badly about ourselves, and because a thought is always going to generate a corresponding feeling, and then the corresponding feeling very, very easily generates more thoughts of the same sort, and then you get more corresponding feelings. Oh, I'm ugly, I'm useless, I can't do it, I can't change it, I tried to get slim and I failed and now I'm useless at that as well, whatever. That's why it's so difficult to say, well, I'm going to appreciate myself anyway. And it can take a very, very deep choice. And, you have people who've been really attractive, but it's all because they're insecure. They spend the time, they're beautifully coiffed and their makeup's done and everything. And then something happens in their life, whatever, and they gain weight. Or they have an accident, suddenly they've got a facial disfigurement. Big deal, right? Difficult. None of that's easy. I'm not saying this is just child's play to overcome. But suddenly they've lost their beauty and they go through an internal crisis because they remember who they used to be. And of course, they're stuck in the past, feeling the grief and the loss of what they've lost, and they have. But they don't realise that in order to find their own beauty, they're going to have to be grateful for what they had, grateful for what they still have. They're going to have to let go of who that person was, because whoever that person was, they're not that person now. So whoever I am now, this is another thing, you've actually really got to come to terms with who you are now and stop beating up on yourself about being who you are now. And then start thinking different thoughts, and eventually, oh my God, it can take a while, generating different feelings about, my body's carried me through all of this. I'm so great, my life I may be doubtful about being grateful to be alive some days. But here I am, and yesterday there was that thing that I did that I enjoyed because I forgot about being miserable for a little while. So, I did something that I enjoyed, and I didn't realise I could celebrate this. I forgot about being miserable for a while. Oh, you mean that's an achievement? Yeah, you forgot about being miserable for a while. Even if you weren't aware then that you were doing that, you're aware of it now, right? Because I've just explained to you the thoughts make the feelings and the feelings make the thoughts, and it becomes habitual, and you just keep diving into all the, negativity and misery about yourself. If you can stop that program from running and put a different program in about, oh my God, I appreciate the fact that my body's not full of pain today. Or, I appreciate that I like that, my hands serve me well. It doesn't matter what you find, but when you start to appreciate yourself and what you have, and your beauty changes. Changes every day, by the way. Beyond appearance, it's about what we feel about ourselves. Really, truly. And the crazy thing is that when you love yourself, that's a whole nother journey, your body shines even if it's disfigured. I know, because I've seen it. It just becomes the container. It's not who you are. Never mind the whole, yeah, I mean, that's a whole other thing. We identify with our bodies and think our bodies are us. They're not. It's a container. It's a puppet. You are the awareness. And if you change the way you think and thereby the signals that you send to your body's going to change too. Much easier than feeling crappy and thinking, well, I need to do this diet and run 10 miles today and, if I get thin, then I might feel better. It doesn't work like that. You're still going to feel the same crap inside yourself even when you're thin. You'll be pleased that you're thin, but you're still going to feel small. You're still going to feel bad. You're still going to feel ugly. When the soul shines through, as you say, Andrew, it is what matters. But you've got to let go of all of that old programming to actually come into a place where that's true for you. And so this is the journey. And it starts with appreciation. It starts with gratitude for what you do have. And you have to make a very conscious choice often to take your attention off what you think you don't have and appreciate what you do have about yourself. Because whatever you think you've lost, you got a whole lot that you're not paying attention to that's really good. And it's a massive, massive topic. Maybe that thing, whatever it was, I've really lost it. But I'll listen to the end. I always listen to the last few minutes, and maybe we'll pick up on that tomorrow. It's an amazing topic, so I'm really grateful that I saw this beautiful lady's post, and she is beautiful. She's just gotten the idea that she's not. And as soon as she changes the thought, she's going to have a different feeling. And then she'll realise what the rest of us can see, that she's amazing. So, that is what I wanted to say. Whenever you ever thought about yourself being less than or not good enough or, ugly, just realise it's an old program. It's a lie. From the outside of you, it's designed to keep you in lack, so you will buy things. Not consciously, nobody's trying to do it to you. It's just, they're a business. They need to make a profit. That means selling stuff to you, hopefully. But if you start to extract yourself from the matrix and choose what you're putting your attention on and what you think about yourself, your life will change. Speaking from experience. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.